Our next speaker is a corporate professional who is passionate about gender equality in the workplace and life. In the past 10 years, she has actively supported and enabled underprivileged women and children through various self-sustaining projects. Her name is Mousumi Bhat. Let's welcome Mousumi Bhat.
Testing, testing, testing. Can I control? You have to let me control. I can.
Right now.
I'm good. Good afternoon. It's 46 degrees outside, and the sun is scorching the face of the earth. In our air-conditioned SUV, we're chatting away as we hurtle down the roads in Gujarat, completely unaware of the harsh conditions outside. All of a sudden, the tires screech and the SUV comes to a halt, and a little boy with a curly, muddy shag on his head darts in front of the SUV, completely naked. I gasp in horror, because I'm imagining the worst. But his little face appears 2 inches shy off the front wheel of the car. I close my eyes in relief and I try to get off the car, but the heat wave hits me like a hammer and I fall back into the car. The little boy is now next to my door. He's smiling and he's begging. There are a million thoughts going through my head at this point. And I'm thinking, there's karma somewhere. And this little boy's karma has more than one life in it. He is blissfully unaware of everything that has just happened. Perhaps this is everyday life for him. We pull over on the roadside and we try to find out more. It turns out there isn't one. There are 3 little kids, ages 2 to 5 on the roadside. Apparently siblings. There are no parents in sight. We talk to a fruit vendor on the roadside and he tells us that the mother has gone to beg so she can bring food for the children. The father, an alcoholic, has been gone for 6 days. The 12-year-old sister followed the dad, and she has not come back since. I ask them, do these kids have a hut or a shelter, somewhere they sleep in the night? No, they sleep under the stars. Is it possible to get them a shower and some real food? I hear my host say, giving them food, money, and shelter is not the answer. Because all this does, this method, just locks them into poverty and begging for all their lives, and maybe generations to come, waiting for a car like yours to stop. The real answer is to enable and empower them. To enable them so they can earn and provide a better life for the next generation. And if possible, through a stretch of imagination, maybe 3 generations later, they will be helping someone like this out of the dumps. This whole thing makes sense to me. This whole cycle makes sense to me. And it's amazing that this valuable learning was not something that I ever had to deal with in my clinically sterile and amazingly affluent life. This, my friends, is where my journey begins. They take me through 16 other families in that, homeless families in that roadside, 3 slums, a couple of orphanages, 1 leprosy home, and 2 blind schools. That day, I felt like I was Alice, you know, as in Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. It's just that it was not a tour through Wonderland. It was a tour through the real world. And all the stars and sparkles and magic had turned into pain, illness, and poverty. I lost the count of the number of times that I swallowed my tears, found a corner to cry in, or bit my lips so I could prevent a breakdown. It wasn't just sad, it was devastatingly painful. The NGO described the whole process for me. They said there are 2 key enablers. One is education, and the second is women. Someone famous said, if you give a child food, you strengthen him for the day. You give him education, you strengthen him for a lifetime. It was important that these people in the slums understood the value of short-term and long-term. They had to figure out how they would earn for 2 days instead of 2 meals a day. Things like hygiene, birth control, immunization were valuable long-term values and assets. The second enabler is women. In these environments, it was clear that the women had vested more in the family welfare than the men. The men were typically alcoholics, and they would take every rupee they found and spend it on their alcohol, leaving nothing for food. We had to target the women. They were role models for the boys and little boys and girls that would look up to them and take cues for the future. At this point, I'm reminded of a Chinese proverb. When a sleeping woman awakes, the mountain moves. So upon my return to Singapore, this valuable lesson around women's empowerment stuck to me. And I thought long and hard on how could I be a part of this journey. And then it came to me. The NGO was training these women to build handicraft. I could potentially sell that anywhere and from anywhere and to anywhere in the world. And so with that, in 2008, I registered a charity organization, Gramashri. In my time outside of work, I host fairs. My husband and I run around town delivering gifts and presents from those handicrafts. And in the last 8 years, we have provided employment for 25,212 women, and we have supported the development of 11 slums. I have a great group of volunteers I work with. They are all there for the education. Mother Teresa said, the poor are very rich. They give us a lot more than we give them. The poor have given me education. And friends, today, I'm happy to let you know that this journey is not just a solo journey of discovery, but it is a journey of everyone I come in contact with. And today, I'm excited to have you as part of this journey. This forum of sharing through World Speech Day gives us that power to create a world we would all like to live in. I would like to leave you with a quotation from Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said, "It's in your hands to create a better world for everyone to live in." Thank you.